Honey, if you thought reality TV dished out drama, think again. Because what just went down in Atlanta, even Bravo couldn't script this kind of madness. So let's talk about Quad Webb. You know her, that fiery queen from Married to Medicine, always giving glam, attitude, and quotable one-liners. She's known for her sharp tongue and sharper fashion sense. But baby, nothing could have prepared any of us for the whirlwind that just ripped through her life out of nowhere. Boom, headlines lit up like fireworks. Reality star's boyfriend found guilty in luxury car theft ring. Like, what? Excuse me? Yup. The man who had been whining, dining, and posing for red carpet pics with Miss Quad was none other than Cedric Johnson. A name that might not mean much to your average Atlantan, but oh, trust, in certain circles, Cedric was that guy. Always suited up, always smooth talking, and always showing face at VIP events. Everyone thought he was just another high-rolling entrepreneur. Turns out he was running game, and not the legal kind. Cedric was convicted of being knee-deep in a slick luxury car theft ring, and not just any cars. We're talking Rolls-Royce Phantom level. Over $300,000, 0 cents worth of car, honey. This wasn't some Booster Civic operation. This was big money, high-end hustle with precision. And the shock? Oh, it was real. People were stunned. How could someone so well-connected, so established, be caught up in such a shady mess? And how, Lord how, was our girl Quad smack dab in the middle of it? Because Cedric wasn't just a name in her DMs. He was her man, her arm candy at public events, her partner in every sense. This man had been everywhere with her. Photos, interviews. He was visible. So naturally, jaws started flapping. Was Quad in on it? Did she know? Or was she just another woman fooled by a slick-talking liar? And then, oh girl, it got worse. Word on the street was Cedric had been using her name, yes, Quad Webb, to give himself clout while pushing stolen Bentleys and Porsches. Investigators whispered he'd name-drop her in hush-hush deals, making it seem like her celebrity glow somehow legitimized his dirt. I mean, the nerve. But just when people were ready to throw Quad under the bus, investigators finally cleared the air. Turns out, sis had no clue. None. According to her team, she was as blindsided as we were, and she worked closely with authorities once the truth started trickling out. But let's be honest, that didn't stop the gossip machine from going into overdrive. The media, of course, was relentless. News outlets splashed her face next to every gritty detail, like she was the one hot wiring cars in the middle of the night. Fans split. Some rode for her, saying she was just another victim. Others, oh, they came for blood. Bloggers, TikTokers, influencers, they all took their shots. The speculation was savage. People accused her of funding Cedric's criminal hustle or using her celeb connections to help him pick targets. Crazy stuff. Her past was dissected like a frog in science class. Every old photo, every past relationship dragged out and picked apart. And the worst part, Quad stayed silent at first. Maybe she was hoping it all died down, but honey, silence is gasoline on the gossip fire. The longer she said nothing, the hotter the rumors burned. Until one day, finally, Quad spoke up, and let me tell you, the internet froze. Her statement was raw, emotional, furious. She felt betrayed, used, absolutely humiliated. She had loved that man, let him into her circle, trusted him, and now she was just another headline. But by then, the damage was deep. Some brand ghosted her, career doors that had been wide open slammed shut, and fans, oh, they were tuning in for that reunion episode of Married to Medicine like it was the Super Bowl of shade. And sure enough, the shade came hard. One of her castmates threw a dagger about her taste in men, and Quad's whole face changed. She clapped back. Of course. She's still Quad, but the pain behind her eyes, baby, you can't fake that. And what we didn't see on screen, Quad had noticed the red flags. She just didn't connect the dots. We're talking Cedric disappearing for hours with no explanation, showing up with fancy watches, insisting on paying big purchases in cash. At the time, she brushed it off. That's just his business style. But now, those memories hit her like bricks. The signs had been there, and she'd missed them all. As Cedric's trial geared up, Atlanta was holding its collective breath. This wasn't just some messy breakup anymore. This was the stuff of scandal history. Reporters were camped outside the courtroom like it was the Grammy red carpet. Inside, packed to the brim. Outside, news vans, cameras, fans, and probably a few nosy neighbors too. And Cedric, he walked into that courtroom every day looking like he just stepped out of a GQ spread. Smooth suit, polished shoes, that same arrogant smirk he always wore. But the prosecutors weren't here to admire the fit. Oh no, they came with receipts. They laid out the case like a perfect puzzle. Surveillance footage of Cedric using stolen key fobs at a dealership after hours, VIN numbers that had been altered with scary precision, even insider help from dealership employees. It wasn't sloppy, it was organized crime level precision. This wasn't some rookie operation. Cedric had been doing this for years. And still, the biggest question on everyone's lips, where does Quad fit into all this? Social media? an all-out war zone. Her defenders screamed, "She's a queen, leave her out of it." Her critics, not so forgiving. They dragged her like she was on trial too. Some even suggested she might have been the one laundering the money through her business deals. Every move she made was analyzed, every silence interpreted. And when Quad chose to stay home instead of showing up at Cedric's sentencing, oh, the internet went wild. But here's the tea. She didn't go because she couldn't bear to watch him get sentenced in front of the world. She didn't want to be caught crying over a man who had humiliated her like that. Still, her heart was breaking. Then came the verdict. The whole room froze. The jury filed in. Cedric stood tall, trying to play it cool, but those clenched fists, his jaw locked tight. He knew what was coming. 18 years in federal prison. Cedric didn't flinch, but deep down, he knew it was over. For him, the story was ending. For Quad, this was just the beginning of her nightmare. Because even with a not guilty by association from the law, the court of public opinion had already handed down its verdict. And baby, it wasn't pretty. Whispers started following her into every room. Was that her boyfriend, the one with the cars? Brand deals started dropping like flies. One company even sent her a polite but shady email. Due to recent controversies, we are reevaluating current partnerships. Translation, bye girl. The memes, brutal. TikTok, even worse. People made parody videos mocking her love life. It was relentless. And just when she thought it couldn't get any messier, Cedric reached out from jail through his lawyer. The message? Tell her I didn't mean for it to go this far. I still love her. Excuse me? At first, Quad laughed. Well, like a bit of what the hell do you mean love laugh? After everything he did, after using her name to boost his schemes, now he wants to drop L-bombs from behind bars? But the message, it stayed with her. Something felt off. Then one day, a mysterious envelope shows up at her front door. No name, no return address. Inside, a USB drive and a handwritten note that simply said, "You don't know everything yet." Chills. Literal chills. Quad didn't know what to expect. She half thought it might be a virus, but when she plugged it in, oh girl, it was like opening Pandora's box. Dozens of files, videos, audio recordings, screenshots of emails, a secret archive of Cedric's life she never knew existed. And what she heard, it made her blood run ice cold. In one file, Cedric's yelling at someone, "I told you not to touch her, she's off limits." And in another, he's whispering in full panic, "They're watching me. If anything happens, tell Quad the truth." Quad's heart was racing. And this was just random sound bites. These were clues, pieces of something way bigger. Names she didn't know, addresses she'd never heard of, business deals she wasn't part of. And that's when it hit her like a brick. Cedric wasn't the mastermind. He was just a pawn. There was something much larger happening behind the scenes. A whole damn network. Cedric hadn't just been living a double life. He had been trapped in a world she didn't even know existed. So she did what any smart woman would do. She got answers straight from the source. Quad knew she couldn't sit on this. Not with all that swirling in her head, the USB, the recordings, the lies, the fear. She needed answers, real ones. And there was only one person who could give them to her. The next morning, she arranged a visit to the prison where Cedric was being held. Can you imagine the nerves? Cold metal chairs, thick glass, guards watching your every move. But she held her head high. She was going to face him. He walked in, thinner than she remembered, eyes still burning with that familiar fire. They stared at each other for a second, not speaking. Then he picked up the phone. "You saw it," he said simply. "I did, and I have questions." And then Cedric leaned in. What he told her next? Life-altering. "I couldn't tell you before," he said. They had ears everywhere, phones, cars, even your assistant. Quad blinked. Her assistant? He nodded solemnly. "She wasn't just working for you. I found out too late." Her stomach dropped. The betrayal didn't stop at Cedric. It was around her, in her circle, in her home. People she trusted had been part of the lie. And Cedric? He wasn't dealing with some car-stealing street thugs. No, honey, he was tangled in something way deeper. It's not just a ring. It's a network, he told her. Politicians, judges, CEOs. I was small time. They recruited me, paid me, gave me access. When I tried to walk away, they threatened to go after you. His voice cracked as he said, "You were the only thing they could use to keep me in line. I stayed because of you, and when I got caught, I stayed quiet. Because if I talked, you would be next." Tears welled in Quad's eyes. She clenched her jaw, refusing to let them fall. He had lied, yes, but had he also tried to protect her? Then why send the drive? "I needed you to know the truth," Cedric said. "You can't trust anyone now, Quad. Not your circle, not even your family. That drive, it's got enough to crack this whole thing wide open. But you have to be careful." Quad left that prison with her head spinning. Her entire world had just been flipped on its axis. She wasn't playing. The minute she got home, she copied that USB drive twice. One she stashed in a hotel locker, another went into a safety deposit box under a fake name, and a third, she mailed it anonymously to a journalist, the one who had tried to expose Cedric's dealings months ago but was silenced. Smart move, because that same night, someone broke into her house. They didn't steal jewelry, no TV, no bags, no cash. All they took was her laptop. No forced entry, no mess, just precision. That's when Quad knew. This wasn't paranoia, she was being watched. She was in danger. And then, boom. A week later, the headlines exploded across the country. Whistleblower drops explosive evidence on nationwide criminal network. Everything Cedric had told her? Confirmed. Arrests across multiple cities, raids. Names being dropped like hot tea on a white dress. Executives, elected officials, even people Quad had posed with at events were suddenly going radio silent. And Cedric? Quietly transferred to another prison for his protection, because he wasn't just a criminal anymore. He was a key to bringing down giants. And Quad, she was the unexpected hero at the center of it all. But honey, this was no victory lap, because with every secret exposed, new threats emerged. She noticed the cars that started parking near her house that weren't there before, the mysterious texts from unknown numbers. You don't want to keep pushing. You're in over your head. Back off. Some nights, she slept with one eye open, but she wasn't backing down. Not anymore. Quad Webb had been through it. The love of her life turned out to be a criminal. Her name smeared across every gossip blog in America. Her trust shattered by people in her own circle. And now, she was being hunted by a faceless network that didn't like loose ends. But baby, if they thought Quad was gonna roll over and cry, they clearly never watched Married to Medicine. She started working closely with the journalist she'd sent the USB to, feeding him tips through encrypted messages. The drive? It had triggered a domino effect. More people were coming forward, more dirt being unearthed. But even with the network unraveling, Quad couldn't relax. She lived every day like someone was watching. Because someone probably was. What stung most was how much she lost. Brand deals, gone. Friendships, ghosted. Her public image, a war zone. But her dignity, still intact. And her courage, only getting stronger. Because for the first time, reality TV wasn't her reality. This wasn't about petty drama or sassy confessionals. This was life or death. Power versus truth. And even if the cameras weren't rolling, Quad Webb was playing the most dangerous and most important role of her life. She had discovered the ugliest, scariest truth of all in a city obsessed with image. Reality is nothing like it seems. Nothing like it seems. Nothing.